ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
पर्यन्तां वन्दे
आचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
आचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्परां
ॐ
ॐ
सहनाववतु
सहना भवतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु सह
भुनक्तु
वीर्यम्
सह
कर्वावहै
वीर्यं
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः
हरि ओम्
ॐ
हरि
तत्सत् हरि ओम्
ओम
So we had completed the 21st verse sloka of the 13th chapter. So we will be on the 22nd sloka. We will chant. Please unmute yourself. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
भगवान
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Upadrashtanumanta cha
उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता
उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता
च
च
Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha
भर्ता
भर्ता
भोक्ता
भर्ता
भोक्ता
भोक्ता
महेश्वरः
महेश्वरः
परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः
परमात्मेति
परमात्मेति
चाप्युक्तः
चाप्युक्तः
विद्धेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः
देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः
Okay, so first the words Asmin Dehe, in this body, Paraha Purushaha Uktaha Iti.
बर्तन मांजोगी ना मुझे बुला लेना.
I would request everybody to
हाँ
please
तो
unmute themselves, to mute, keep themselves mute if there's talk in the house because you're disturbing the recording. Thank you. So Asmin Dehe, in this body, Paraha Purushaha Iti Yuktaha. In this body, this Supreme Purushaha, this Param Purushaha is said to be there. And what is he said to be? Upadrashta. He is the witness, close by. Upadrashta, a close witness. Anumanta, the one who gives permission. Bharta, the sustainer. Bhokta, the enjoyer. Maheshwaraha, Mahaishwaraha, Api, and Paramatma cha, and the Supreme Atma himself. So the Supreme Purusha in this body is said to be the close witness, the supporter, the sustainer, the experiencer, the Mahaishwaraha, and Supreme Brahman, or Supreme Purusha himself. Now let's look at the individual words. Asmin Dehe Para Purushaha. Purusha is there. Asmin Dehe, in this body. What is the comparison? Just as Akasha is there in every container. Right? It is one Akasha, but we say pot space, we say room space, we say bottle space, as if there are different Akashas. Similarly, that Parampurushaha, the Paramatma, is there in every body, and we give it the name of Jiva Atma. But what is the real nature of that Paramatma? Sakshi Chaitanyam, the consciousness principle itself. And the adjective, the Visheshanam Paraha, is used to indicate the attribute of being free of any boundaries, free of all limitations. So Purushaha should not be taken as only within the body. It is also within the body. It extends beyond the container body also. That is why Paraha, free from limitations, that Param Purushaha, that Atma, is present everywhere, also present in your body. Now, all these words are very important words, and therefore we will take the Shankara Bhashyam for it. I mean, I won't go into the Sanskrit of it. We will just look at the words as such. Those who want to look at the Sanskrit, they can, look at the Sringeri website. The Bhashyams are given there. Okay, so Upadrashta. Shankaracharya gives three meanings. The first he says, you take Upaha. Upa literally means what? Close to. So he says you take Upaha as an adverb qualifying the verb drishta. So drishta means to see or to perceive. It's a verb, right? Upadrashta has to be seen as the one who is closely perceiving. Upadrashta. So upa is the adverb, drashta is the verb. And therefore, the idea is even though he is closely perceiving, he does not do anything. That is the first meaning. He does not do anything even though he is upa, closely there. He is the only witness, he's only a witness, and he's close witness, but he doesn't do anything at all. And Shankara gives the example of a person sitting for a yajna, for a ritual. That person knows how to perform the ritual, but does not do it himself. Somebody else doing, right? So a person literally sitting and closely watching, but himself not doing anything. That is the first meaning that Shankara gives. Then he takes the same words, Upadrashta, close witness, for the second meaning, and says that you have to take this in the sense of the Indriyas, the sense organs, the ears, the eyes, the nose, etc. Right? So Upadrashta here can be taken as seer, the witness. But the Indriyas see the external world and the mind sees the Indriyas. Therefore, there is a sequence of drishtas. There is a first seer is the Indriyas who see the external world. The next seer is the mind who sees the Indriyas. Therefore, he says, take this as the mind which is the seer of the Indriyas. Therefore, here Upa is again taken as an adjective qualifying the witness, the seer, the perceiver. And in this context, I will quote a verse. I hope you remember. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik tad drishyam driktu manasam drishyadhivrittaya sakshihi drik evanatu drishyate. The verse is very self-explanatory. Where is it from?
Drik Drishya Viveka.
What does it mean?
Oh,
Let's take bit by bit.
stepwise.
Rupam
Yeah.
drishyam lochanam drik. Rupam
The
is drishyam.
yeah.
The form is the object, is the scene. Lochanam drik. The seer is the lochanam, the eyes. Then tad drishyam. The tad here refers to lochanam. The eyes being the object. Drik tu manasam. The mind is the seer. Drishyadhi vrittayaha. The vritti is a function or the thoughts, because all the functions of the mind are thoughts. Therefore, all the thoughts are drishyam, object of experience. Sakshi drik evaha. The witness of the thoughts in the mind, or the witness of the mind in this case, right? Drishya dhivrittaya, you have to take it as witness of the mind. That is explained that the mind is thoughts itself. Therefore, who is the witness of the mind? Sakshi drik eva. The Sakshi is the witness of the mind. Then Natu Drishyate, this Sakshi cannot be further seen because Sakshi is the absolute observer. So this was I hope those of you who have been in the Drishyavivaka class remember all this. The question is asked, supposing you ask a question, why is Sakshi called observer? Or rather, why is Sakshi called intimate observer? Upadrishta. Right, we are back to the original text. The Drishya was only for illustrating. We are coming back to Shankaracharya's meaning Upadrashta, close observer. Why is Sakshi called close observer and why not just an observer? Shankara says that in his Bhashyam, Shankara says every indriya in the body, because of the pervasion of consciousness, right? Reflected consciousness is there in every indriya of the body, in every sense organ of the body. Therefore, every indriya, sense organ, becomes an observer. Eyes, nose, of their respective objects. Eyes become observer of form and color. Nose becomes a experiencer of smell. Ears become an experiencer of sound. Therefore, every indriya in the body is an observer or experiencer, and every indriya gives inputs where to the mind, and therefore mind becomes the observer. And who observes the mind? Not the mind itself, right? Only the sakshi can observe the mind. And therefore, since it is the Sakshi who lends the Chidabhasa, the consciousness, the reflected consciousness to the mind and then to the sense organs, that's why Sakshi is the ultimate observer. Therefore, Upadrashta, the ultimate observer or the closest observer. So there are two meanings. What are they? One is like the person who is just an observer, not doing anything. Like for example, I gave you a person sitting in a yajna. Another is the person who observes everything completely, right? And the third is he says, he uses the word yagnyo pashta. The person who makes sure that yagnyo pashta is the sort of, what do you call it? The organizer, the person who makes that the yajna runs smoothly. Like in today's functions, marriages, parties, etc., even birthday parties, you have what? Event manager. So Yagno Pashta is the event manager. His job is to see that everything runs smoothly and to ensure that everything runs smoothly, that everybody is behaving properly. There are no, interruptions. There are no problems in the function. What should he be doing?
Watching everybody closely,
Watching
closely,
everybody. So he's
close.
observing everybody. Hence here the emphasis on in the observation of all. Right? He is saying that if this younger Prishta, he observes everybody. So Upadrashtaya means one who watches everybody to make sure that everybody is doing and nobody is creating a problem. Okay. So you can also say that if you're looking at the derivation of the word Sakshi, who is all observer, like here we are saying it's all observer, Yajna Prishta, right? So all observer means this can be the Upadrashta. The meaning can be at different times. Like sometimes the Upadrashta is for the original consciousness, Atma itself. Sometimes the word Upadrashta is being used for reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa. And sometimes it is used for the mind. And therefore, in understanding these words, we have to be very careful. When the word Sakshi is used for the reflected consciousness or the mind, remember the Sakshi is a changing observer because the mind is always changing. But when Sakshi is used for the original consciousness, for OC, remember the Sakshi is a non-changing observer. And therefore this idea, Savikara Drishta, changing observer, Nirvikara Drishta, non-changing observer, which remember both ideas are there when you use the term Sakshi generally. But here, Upanashta means Sakshi Nirvikara Drishta. Right? Even otherwise, when you talk about Savikara Drishta, the changing observer, what is it? Changing observer can be the mind.
Mind.
And when you say Nirvikara Drishta, you should remember that it is a non-changing observer. The mind can never be classified as non-changing. And therefore, if you are using the word Sakshi, it is always better to remember that I am using the term as Nirvikara Drishta, a non-changing observer. And here Shankara says, Upadrashta, the third idea is Nirvikara Drishta Shakshi, the non-changing witness. And how Shankara says, what does it do? He says that Sakshi pervades the mind, right? It's all pervading. The mind is there. Sakshi pervades the mind. When Sakshi, the Nirvikara Drishta, pervades the mind, what happens? It forms the Chidabhasa. Remember, Sakshi by itself has no mind. I hope we are clear about that. Sakshi is Atma, not associated with mind. If it was associated with mind, it can't be called Nirvikara because mind is always changing. Therefore, Upadrashta here, Shankara says, take it as Nirvikara Drishta, take it as Sakshi. And what is the job of the Sakshi? It is to pervade the mind which it comes in contact with. When it pervades the mind, a Chidabhasa is formed. That mind plus Chidabhasa is called what? The mind, when pervaded by consciousness, is
Akshi Chaitanya.
RC.
this RC, fine. But it is
Yeah.
the RC which becomes the observer. The Drishta is the RC. The Savikara Drishta is the OC which has pervaded the mind. When OC pervades the mind, RC is formed, Chidabhasa is formed. That Chidabhasa Sahita Manaha, the mind with reflected consciousness, that is what we call observer, that is what we call Pramata, that is what we call the seer. All these words are meant to indicate the mind which has Chidabhasa, not the Sakshi. Sakshi is Nirvikara Drishta. Mind with Chidabhasa is Savikara Drishta. But Shankara puts it another idea here. At the same time, what does the Sakshi do? Swayam Avyaprataha. Avyaprataha is without doing anything. Swayam Avyaprataha. This Nirvikara Sakshi, Nirvikara Drishta, Swayam Avyaprataha, without doing any action, what happens? Sanidhya matrena, by its mere presence alone. By the mere presence of the Sakshi, the Nirvikara Drishta, what happens? The reflected consciousness, the Chidabhasa, is formed in the RM, the mind, the reflecting medium, which is the mind. Therefore, by its mere presence, Anidya Matrena, without doing anything, that Nirvikara Drishta Shakshi, or original consciousness, OC, it lends consciousness to the mind, right? So that is lending consciousness without really doing anything. So these are three meanings which are given for the word Upadrashta. All of them very useful. All of them we should remember. Okay. Then what is the next word? The next word is Anumanta. So Upadrashta, Anumanta cha. Anumanta means the one who gives permission, the general meaning. But Shankara gives three meanings again over here. So the first meaning he gives is the one who is paritoshaha. Paritosha is basically anumodanam, the one who is always happy, right? So the one who is always happy, why? Because of the consciousness which has been lent, because the reflected consciousness which the Nirvikara Sakshi has lent, which the Atma has lent, all the other organs are doing their job. And therefore, this Atma is Ananda Swarupam. He is always happy. Right? This is the first meaning of the word Anumanta, the one who is always happy. The second meaning, the Sanskrit is also important. So I'll just say it and explain it. Second meaning of Hanumanta is Karya Karana Pravrittishu Swayam Pravrittorapi. Okay. So, Karya Karana Pravrittishu. Apravrittorapi. Apravritti means he doesn't do anything. So the one who remains silent without doing anything, while Karya Karana Pravritti, while the Karya Karana, the body mind concepts complex, Pravritti, they do their jobs. Okay, it's a very subtle idea that Atma lends Chidabhasa, consciousness, to the body mind sense complex. What is the effect of lending the Chidabhasa? The body mind sense complex becomes as if sentient and therefore is able to perform its job. All the various sense organs become sentient. The eyes can see, the ears can hear, the nose can smell, the legs can walk, the hands can pick up things. But apravrittorapi, the Atma, it remains silent. So the idea is very, very subtle one. Supposing your child says, you know, Mommy, I'm going to play, and you don't say anything. You don't say no, you don't say yes. What is the child going to take your silence
As your permission to
as
go.
permission? As permission, right? And therefore, here the idea is the Atma is silently giving permission for the body mind complex to do the activities which they are supposed to do. So it is as if the Atma is permitting the actions of the body mind complex, but how permitting? Without doing anything. So silently giving permission, so to speak. That is the second interpretation of Anumanta. Then the third interpretation is related to this, but slightly different. He says, Tat Sakshi Bhutaha Kadachit Api Na Nivarayati Iti. That Sakshi Bhutaha, the Atma in the form of a Sakshi, Na Nivarayati, does not stop any activity. Kadachit api na nivaryati does not actively do anything to stop the activity of the sense organs of the body. So the second one, which said silently gives permission, is a positive way of looking at it. It is because of the Atma that the body mind sense complex can function. This one, it does not stop the activity. It is more of a negative interpretation. So the literal translation is the Atma is the one who does not stop any activity, and therefore, by not stopping, it appears as if you are encouraging the activity. Like to give an example of child and parent, if the child is behaving badly and you do not step in to discipline the child, what do we say? The parents are permitting the bad behavior. In the same way, the Atma, by not stopping any activity, is as if permitting. Three definitions. And remember, there is a fine distinction between all these three. The first one, just a witness. So it is as if Atma is sitting quietly, appreciating the activities of the body mind sense complex. The second one, Atma appears to be giving permission by not doing anything, silently appears to be giving permission. And the third one is Atma appears to be giving permission by not stopping the activity. The second and third are different only in nuance. Okay. Positive, negative. In short, the Hanumanta is the one who blesses or permits all the activities. Good activity, bad activity, moral activity, immoral activity, the activity of a saint, the activity of a murderer, the activity of a terrorist, all are possible only because Atma is there. So consciousness, the Atma, does not discriminate, does not judge. All actions are supported. And we have often talked about electricity in this context. What is the job of electricity? To make the instrument functional. What the instrument does, whether it is a heart lung machine which saves lives, or it is an electric chair which takes lives, that is not to be taken into account here. All that it does is that electricity supports the activities. Without electricity, no instrument can function. That is the idea taken here. Without Anumanta, no body, mind, sense complex can function. No activity can be done. Okay. Then Upadrashta Manumanta cha Bharta. Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha. Three words are there. Bharta means supporter. The supported is called what?
Bhartri.
Also Bharya. Bhartri is probably a female Bharta. So a husband is called Bharta because he is supposed to support the wife and the children. Of course, those old days. Nowadays there are many ladies who support the whole family. Therefore, in that case, it will be the lady who is Bharta. Anyone who supports anything is called Bharta. Okay. And in one of the TTCs where I was explaining this, there's a very interesting question. You know what the question was? Why is it called Baingan Bharta? Anybody knows the answer?
That is not Sanskrit Bharta word. That's a Hindi Bharta word.
Anyway, so that's it. Okay. So Bharta here literally means what? Sthiti Karanam. That which supports the existence by lending existence. Because of the sthiti state, stable state of the universe. But you should know that when is a man called Bharta? Only when there is a family or a bharya, right? Bharta, bharya. Literally, Bharta is the one who supports the bharya. Therefore, here also Atma can be called Bharta only when there is Prakriti, only when there is Maya. So whenever you say Bharta, remember you are postulating both Atma and Maya, Brahman and Maya. So that is the meaning of the word Bharta. Then Bhokta. Bhokta means the consumer or the experiencer. So not only is he the supporter, he is also the experiencer. And Shankara gives a very nice explanation. He says, Nitya Chaitanya Sarupena. Atma being in the nature of eternal consciousness principle. What does it do? Buddhehe pratyaya. It pervades the mind. Buddhi here means mind. It pervades the mind and pratyaya, revealing all the thoughts in the mind. And what kind of thoughts? Sukha, dukkha, mohatmakaha. Those thoughts which are the nature of sukha, dukkha, and moha. Happiness, sorrow, and delusion. And the moment you say mind, you should know what mind is. Maya. Maya has three gunas, rajas, sattva, and tamas. And therefore, when Shankara says sukha, dukkha, moha, we have to connect the states of rajas, tamas, and sattva to these three emotions. So, sattvika emotion is what? Sukha vritti. Rajasika emotion is what? Dukkha vritti. And tamasika emotion is moha vritti. This connection you should make. And then Shankara says, Sarva Vishaya Pratyaya. All the three vrittis are dealing with what? Sarva Vishaya, with external objects only. And therefore, it is as if all the thoughts are basically in the mind, which is inside the Atma. And therefore, it is as if Atma has consumed all these thoughts. Right? It's like, you take a lime pickle. That lime pickle is pervaded by what?
All the masala, the juice.
All the juice. The pickle is dipped in the sauce. And therefore, all the thoughts, whether it be sattvika thought, rajasika thought, or tamasika thought, are as if they are dipped in consciousness principle. Why do you say that? Because every thought is known only because of the consciousness principle. Therefore, Atma is the Bhokta. It's taken as the Bhokta. And of course, at this point, we should stop because we are advanced Vedantic students. And we should say, even though all that is true, I am really only the Sakshi. What do? I witness the pleasure, the pain, the envy, and the anger in the mind. Where does the anger belong? Anatma mind. I have to say, I am the illuminator of the anger of this mind. If you say, I am angry, what have you done? You have transferred this anger which belongs to the mind, the anatma. You have transferred that anger to you, the one who illuminates, who reveals the mind and its anger. The moment the attribute of anger is transferred, you are a bhokta. Therefore, bhokta, you remember, Atma is bhokta only in association with the mind. You should stand back and say, yes, the mind is angry, but I am not angry. Okay. Then Maheshwaraha. So far, if you think back, Padrashta, Anumanta, Bharata, Bhokta, they are all related to Jiva. Tvam Padalakshyartha. Right? They are the implied meaning of the word Tvam, you or I. Now, that is the first line completely of the sloka. The second line deals with Tat Pada Lakshyartha. Tat meaning Ishvara. And Lakshyartha, implied meaning of the word Tat. So, Maheshwaraha is there. Now, first line, excepting for the last word, is all Tvam-pada. Maheshwaraha is Tat-pada. So, what is Maheshwaraha? Shankara says very beautifully that Maha refers to what?
Supreme.
Great, large quality, largeness or greatness. Okay. So, Mahan. But this Mahan can be in terms of quantity or quality also. And Shankara says it is okay to take both the meanings. You can take greatness in terms of quality. You can take greatness in terms of quantity also. So first he says, Sarvatmavat Mahan. Quantity or physical size present in all beings and therefore present in the entire universe. It's the infinite size. And therefore we should remember the second sloka of this chapter. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Know that I am that consciousness which is present in all the kshetrams, hey Bharat. Therefore the word Mahan refers to all pervading nature. physically infinite. So greatness in terms of quantity, right? Physically. Then he says you can, that is the word. So Shankara uses the word sarvatmavat mahan, physically infinite, like the Sarvatma, who is present all through the universe. Then he says, he uses the word Swatantravat Mahan, quality wise independent. How? Because entire creation is Paratantra. It has a particular attribute. Paratantra means what? Dependent. But Atma alone is Swatantra. Therefore, quality wise, it is great because it is not dependent upon the universe, which is a dependent quality. So, matter, Anatma is Paratantra. Mind is matter, Jagat is matter. Mind is matter, Jagat is matter. Therefore, mind will definitely be influenced by matter. Body will be influenced by matter. Therefore, body is subject to the influence of Prakriti, the world. The mind is also subject to the influence of the body and the world. But Purushaha, the Maheshwaraha, is a different entity altogether in terms of the quality because it doesn't have these qualities at all. It is beyond these qualities. Therefore, Purushaha can never be affected by the Anatma principle. Therefore, Purushaha is Swami, Lord of all creations. Okay, so that is the meaning. And then next is Paramatma Iti. Second line, Paramatma Iti is Paramatma Iti, the greatest Atma. Now, when I say greatest Atma, if you have been following this argument closely, you should have a question. What is the question? A natural
Why
question.
there is a size variation? Greatest.
No, explain.
I can only do this that much.
Anybody? What is the contradiction in saying greatest Atma?
It shows that there are
Plurality.
more
How
than
many
one.
Atma?
There is more than one.
Correct. Because supposing I have, you know, two cars, right? So here it is what? Param Atma, greatest Atma. I have two cars. One is big car, and one is small car. So I can say one car is Param. It is the greatest of the two. Right. And therefore there should be at least two if you have to use the word Paramatma. So Param therefore is a comparative measure. Why does Krishna use it? Or why does the Shastra use it? For a non-dual Atma. So this is a question which normally we never ask, right? We have seen Paramatmas throughout Bhagavad Gita also, throughout the other Upanishads also. We have never asked this question. Why Paramatma? So Shankara, yes, please go on.
Because of Upadhi, uh, the highest level of Upadhi is associated with the when we call Paramatma, and that is the reason we call Param. I mean, Atma is in both the cases, but when Jivatma and Paramatma, but in both the cases, Upadhis are associated, and in case of Paramatma, Upadhi is the highest level. That's why Param. I mean, it's my guess.
Acharya, can I try? It's the infinite part, and the other one is the limited part, which is limited within the body. RC.
Okay, very good. So basically, Shankara gives a reply. He says Atma is only one, right? Even then, even though Atma is only one, Ekam Api, even though Atma is only one, what happens? The Ajnani makes a mistake. So some Ajnanis think they are the body. So they identify Annamaya Kosha as the Atma. So this you have to remember the Taittiriya Upanishad. Oh, you don't come there, right? But we have Pancha Kosha Viveka. We have talked about this at length earlier. What is Panchakosha Viveka?
Yeah, I'm not this.
Uh,
I'm
Step by step
Step by step,
analysis.
you
as
move
you are
backwards,
telling
right?
in it.
Which means what? That there are some people who think they are Annamaya Kosha. There are some people who think they are Pranamaya Kosha. There are some people who think they are only the mind. So they are a bit better than Annamaya Kosha people. They say, okay, we are the mind. And mistake Manomaya Kosha as the Atma. Some people mistake the Vijnanamaya Kosha as the Atma. Some people mistake the Anandamaya Kosha as the Atma. Therefore, there are 5 mistakes which can happen. And since each one calls the Atma, there are 5 incorrectly understood Atma, and there is one correctly understood Atma. How many total Atmas?
6.
6 total Atmas. Out of the 6 Atma, which is the best one? That's why it's called Parama, the superior Atma among the 6 Atmas. So this is Shankaracharya's explanation, which you should understand. Why is it called Paramatma? Because there are 6 Atmas, 5 mistaken ones, 5 Mithyas, 1 Satyam. Right? And then we go to Cha api yuktaha dehe asmin purusha paraha. The same paraha purusha, this Paramatma, is located where? Asmin dehe. This very same body. And Shankara adds over here, not only is he located in this body, this Parapurusha, this Supreme Atma, this Param Atma is available Avyaktat Paraha. Avyaktat Paraha. Do you remember what Avyaktam means here?
Unmanifest.
Which means what?
Doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything.
Silent
It's
observer.
not visible by senses.
The 3
Anybody? Go ahead.
those 3 things you just said, that firstly it is not doing anything, second silently it is giving permission, and third it is
No. Avyaktam means Maya.
okay.
Avyakta Maya. So Avyaktam, when you say Maya, Avyakta, remember, when you use the word Avyaktam in Shastram, it can mean Maya, and therefore here Avyaktat Paraha means beyond Maya, means beyond the Anandamaya Kosha also. Therefore, this Chapi Yuktaha Asmin Dehe Purusha Paraha, this Paramatma is available in this body, which consists of the 5 koshas. The last kosha is what? Anandamaya kosha. Therefore, Avyaktat Paraha also, it is also available beyond the body, beyond the Anandamaya kosha, which means this Atma is available in the body and outside the body. The correct way to understand that particular statement. Any difficulty so far? It is Shankara Bhashyam, so it's, Shankara Bhashyam has to be struggled with a bit
So
always.
effectively it is Abhyakt Brahman. It's Brahman.
We'll not jump to that point. So for right now, Sakshi has been given 3 different names. If you have been following all the discussions since we began this chapter, one is Chetragnya, one is Jnayam. What does Jnayam mean?
To be known.
To be known.
The one to be known. And one is Purushaha just now. So there are 3 names for that Sakshi: Chetragnya, Jnayam, and Purusha. Okay. Now we go to the next mantra, next sloka. Sloka number 23. So you can see how long, we are spending on each sloka. We have spent almost 45 minutes on one sloka. So let's hope we can do the next one faster. Sloka number 23. Ye evam vitti purusham
Evam ved
Evam ved purusham
prakritim cha gunai saha
prakritim cha gunai saha
sarvatha vartamanopi
sarvatha
vartamanopi
vartamanopi
न स भूयोऽभिजायते
न स भूयो
Sabhuyo
जायते
Ayate
सः यः एवं वेत्ति. Saha yaha, the one who knows viddihi evam, in this manner. What does he know? Purusham cha prakritim. He knows Prakriti and Purusha in this manner. And he knows Prakriti not only as Prakriti, Gunaihi Saha. Along with the gunas of Prakriti, what happens to him? Bhuyaha na abhijayate. That person is not born again. Sarvatha api vartamanaha. Whatever he does, in whatever manner he lives, he chooses to live. So this sloka is giving the moksha phalam. What is the advantage of knowledge of getting moksha? So yaha evam vetti purusham cha prakriti. You have to know purusha and prakriti both. How should you know purushaha? So Shankara says sakshat aham iti vetti. I should know that purusha is none other than myself. And what are the words here? Aham upadrashta, aham anumanta, aham bharta, aham bhokta, aham paramatma, aham maheshwaraha, aham asmin dehe asmi. I am in this body also. And therefore, I have to know Purusha as Sakshat Aham. Claiming that Purusha as myself. And how should I know Prakriti? So Shankara adds a very important word over here. Prakritim avidya lakshanam. He should know Prakriti as Mithya. Avidya here meaning Mithya. And Maya is called, Maya, the Prakriti, is called Mithya. Is called Avidya here. Why? Because Avidya means, what is the real meaning of Avidya? That which is negatable by Vidya. That which can be negated by Vidya. Vidya. That is called Avidya. Prakriti is negatable by knowledge. Negatable in what sense? Knowing that Prakriti, Maya, is a dependent entity, not really having its own existence. And therefore, knowledge of Prakriti, interestingly, Shankara has again pointed this out. Knowledge of Prakriti is the understanding that Prakriti, even though you are using that Prakriti as your body and as your mind, and therefore you're experiencing the Prakriti, you are utilizing that Prakriti, and you have that Prakriti has value for you in terms of transactions. So Prakriti has experienceability, transactability, and utility. Even though these three attributes are there for Prakriti, the understanding is that Prakriti is not really there. And therefore, na vidyate iti avidyaha. That in this word, the word vidyate really means that which does not exist. So that which does not exist, that is avidya, that is prakriti, that is maya. And again, I will repeat, we have to be very careful when you say vidyate. When you say na vidyate, does not exist, it doesn't mean total absence of existence. It means does not exist independently. Right? For example, you take your dream world. Does it have experienceability?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, because we experience a dream. Does it have transactability?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
The dreamer
Yes.
transacts in the dream. You can go and buy a dream Mercedes Benz and use it in the dream, of course. And therefore, it has got utility in the dream also. Therefore, it is experienceable, transactable, and there is utility in the dream. However, why do you say, even though Swapna Prapancha has got these three things, why do you say it is not real? Because that Swapna Prapancha does not have independent existence. It is dependent upon you, the waker, for its existence. And therefore, you draw a comparison. Exactly like that Swapna Prapancha, the entire waking world, Jagrat Prapancha, also has these three: experienceability, transactability, utility. But because it is dependent upon Brahman for experience, for existence, it is mithya only. Therefore, knowledge of Prakriti, correct knowledge of Prakriti, is the understanding that it is mithya. Remember that Prakriti does not go away when you get knowledge. And to understand that idea, we should also remember that Dvaitam, duality, does not disappear when you become a jnani. So, to give an idea of what I'm saying, supposing you are walking on a dimly lit road and there is a rope snake. There is a rope lying there which you are thinking is a snake. Right? You don't know it's a rope, so you think it's a snake. When you put the light on, torchlight on, does the rope snake go away?
Yes. The rope stays, the transformation in mind, adhyasa goes away.
This idea is to be clearly understood. The rope snake cannot go away. Why? Why can the rope snake not go away? Because it was never
It
there.
was never there.
Something which is not there cannot go away. Right?
Only the adhyasa goes.
Only the idea that there was a rope snake, which is the adhyasa, that goes away. And then he says, Saha Gunaihi. Prakriti goes away, Saha Gunaihi, together with all the products of Prakriti. Not only is Prakriti to be understood as Mithya, but all the products, the body, my body is fat, my body is thin, I am old, I am young, I am bald, I've got lots of hair, I'm beautiful, I'm ugly. These are all the physical attributes. There are also subtle attributes. Angry, jealous, all these are also attributes. So some attributes belong to Sthula Shariram, physical body. Some attributes belong to Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body, like thirst, anger, envy. Some attributes belong to Karana Shariram. What are they? What is the primary attribute belonging to Karana Shariram?
Avidya.
Avidya, Ajnana. And
Hmm.
therefore, any attribute which is born of Prakriti belongs to Prakriti only, not to you. And so that's why we say, Name Dvesha Ragau, Name Lobha Mohau, Mado Naiva Me Naiva Matsarya Bhavaha, Na Dharmo Na Chartho Na Kamo Na Mokshaha. What is the last line?
Chidananda Rupa Sivoham.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Therefore, I have to understand all these Prakriti itself, Prakriti Karyam, born out of Prakriti also, everything as Mithya. I am Satyam. I am the Paramarthika Brahman. All these things belong to Vyavaharika Satyam, a lower degree of reality, a Mithya Vastu. And Mithya Vastu cannot disturb me. This training which we need to change the identification in my mind from the body mind complex to Atma. That training is called Nidhi Dhyasanam. But remember, even to do that training, you have to identify with the mind, which is Prakriti. Right? In any transaction in this world, you have to identify with Prakriti. When you apply for a train ticket, in the date of birth column, do you write Najayate, Amriyate, Vava? You don't. You have to write a date of birth, which the moment you write your date of birth, you are identifying with the body. Therefore, in any Vyavahara transaction, you identify with the body. Throughout the day, you will find that body identification is there. That is why morning and evening you should go to your puja room and say Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham Nacha Shrotra Jeve Nacha Grana Netre. And once you understand this, you have to recall Shakespeare, okay? We have jumped from Vedanta to Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all the men are women, and women are merely players. Everybody has exits and entrances. This exit is called what in Vedanta? Death of the body. The entrance is called birth of the body. That's why Krishna says, Agama paino nityaha tam sitisha bharata. These will come and they will go. Agama apayinaha. But they are all anityaha. Learn to accept them. Learn to tolerate them. Therefore, sarvatha vartamanopi. Whatever role I play, there is no problem. Providing I'm aware that it is a role. Right? If I play the role of a king on stage, but I am not aware that it is a role, and when I come off the stage, if I still behave like a king, what will happen? You will get locked up. So no external change is required, only a transformation in the mind. And therefore, once you are a jnani, this is what is meant by sarvathopi. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Once you are a jnani, Shastra says you have the freedom to live as you like. You can do whatever you want. Because Shastra knows that now you are a jnani, your life has spontaneous discipline. Internal discipline is there. No external discipline, no external control is required. Therefore, saha bhuyaha na abhijayate. This jnani does not have rebirth. I have understood I am the Atma. As Atma, I was never born. Where is the question of rebirth at all? And not only that, go one step further. Since I am the Atma which was never born, why should I bother about the countless bodies and minds which come together and get separated? I don't care. I am Atma. I don't have the first birth itself. Where is the question of Punarjanma? This idea, this intellectual conviction is called moksha. Remember that through this knowledge, I don't attain liberation. I don't get moksha. Through this knowledge, I simply know that I was liberated. I am liberated. I will ever be liberated. I am not capable of getting bound. I was never bound. I am not capable of getting bound. And once jnanam is there, even if you want to be a samsari, you cannot be a samsari at all. So with this, we'll stop for the day. There is a discussion on karma which Shankara does, and in this particular shloka. It's important. We will see it in the next class.
Okay.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your
Thank you,
patience.
Acharya.
Om
Thank you, Acharya.